I want to talk about something that's potentially going to make me quite vulnerable on the internet today. I'm more than happy to talk about it now, but it's something that's a very touchy subject, and I don't know, GCSEs and A-levels. So I'm going to give you a little breakdown on my whole journey, but it is A-levels results very, very soon. I think when I upload this, it's probably going to be tomorrow, and it's GCSE results the week after. So I just wanted to talk today about results day and about my journey, the grades I got and where I am now, because I am very, very lucky the positions I was in, and my grades weren't always the best. GCSEs, I was the COVID year. So my GCSEs were in 2020 and they got cancelled. Like, we were distraught. Like, don't get me wrong, like, we were all like, oh, what's just happened? Like, oh my God, like, we don't actually have to sit GCSEs. But we were also so prepared at this point. Like, it was April. They were in 2 months. And we were all like, these GCSEs are happening whether we like it or not. And then April comes around, COVID becomes this thing. And then all of a sudden they're telling us that we're not going to school anymore and that we aren't sitting our GCSEs. And we were all just like, what? And this has never happened before. We had no idea how we were going to be assessed. We had no idea what was going on. And that was crazy to us. Like, we had no idea what to expect. I was very fortunate that in GCSEs, I treated every single mock like it was the real thing. I revised so hard to the point that I let my mental health like suffer. I put my grades above my mental health, which so many people do because so much pressure is put on those exams. So I struggled with my mental health during GCSEs, and yeah, I was very fortunate that I got, I think, like 6 7s, 1 6, 2 5s, 1 4 and 1 distinction. I treated every single mock exam like it was the real thing. I put so much pressure on myself that I wanted to make a grades progress every single time I did an assessment point in year 11, and that was mad, but it kind of worked for me. Don't get me wrong, subjects like history, English probably as well, I'd say they're the kind of main two that I got good grades in, that I would not have got a 7 if I had to sit the real exam. Like, the amount you have to remember for history, don't get me wrong, it was one of my favourite subjects. I absolutely adored history and I loved English lessons, but when it came to the exams, I was just never that good. But these mocks, I absolutely pulled it out of the bag. Don't know what happened, but I got 7s in them, and then that's what I got for my real grades. I think there was only 1 or 2 of my grades that went up, and I think that was like French, English Lit, and potentially religious. And then apart from that, everything else stayed the same as what I got in my mocks. I feel like as well for me though, I just also want to say, while I wouldn't have done as well in those subjects, I think potentially the sciences like biology, chemistry, physics, more chemistry and physics and maths, I would have done better in, I think, because I would have been studying those subjects a lot more, because I really enjoyed them. But yeah, so I did pretty well in my GCSEs. I was so happy with that. I passed all of them. I got 11 GCSEs, grades 9 to 4. So I was so happy. I was over the moon. I was like, I'm an academic weapon. I came out of this, I was like, yes. And then I went into A-levels and everything kind of went wrong. I'm going to do a little video at some point that's going to be talking through how to choose A-levels and making sure that you pick the right A-levels and things like that. So watch out for that if you want more information on that, because I have so much to say, because basically I chose the wrong A-levels and I was stuck with my choices. So I think I wanted to do physics. I knew that because that was my favourite science. I wanted to do psychology. And then I didn't know what the third one I wanted to do, but I always said when I got halfway through my A-levels, I wish I'd done history, because I found history so interesting. Although it would have been a lot more revising again and a lot more memorisation, I found it really interesting. Anyway, I feel like if I'd have done that, I would have ended up on a very different path, and I don't know if I would have ended up studying psychology. So everything happens for a reason. But for my A-levels, I did biology, chemistry and psychology. I almost failed my A-levels. I did. I was head girl during sixth form, and don't get me wrong, that is a role that I do not regret at all because it gave me so many experiences and it taught me so much as well. I was very fortunate that I got to work with the senior leadership team in my school very closely, and I learned so much from them, and they are people that I still value now. But for me, that role took a lot more of my time away. It also meant that I did not spend enough time studying for my A-levels. I had, at the start of A-levels, a really, really, really good biology teacher. She was absolutely amazing. And I probably had her for like 6 weeks and she went off sick. And the 6 weeks was the period to change your A-levels. And after she went off sick, she left. So she didn't come back. And for me, that was one of the hardest things because she made me enjoy A-level biology. And I was like, yes, I could actually do this subject. Like, I'm doing really well. I was understanding things that the rest of my class weren't understanding. I was like, this is great. Like, these people got higher grades than me in biology. Like, they all got A's. I didn't. And then, yeah, she left. And biology for me was just not a subject that I could understand. And it just wasn't working. And plants and everything is not my forte. I originally chose my A-levels because I wanted to be a doctor and I wanted to go into that field. Don't know why I ever thought I could be a doctor when I did not like A-level biology. I did not like biology at all. I did not like biology at GCSE. Obviously, it's very different. I know it's very different. But I just think I was being a bit optimistic. A bit optimistic for me. So that's what I chose my A-levels on because I was like, I need those A-levels if I want to be a doctor and I don't want to shut that door. Anyway, yeah, A-level biology, big mistake. My teacher was really good. She was really trying to help me, but I just could not. I didn't dedicate enough time to it. I feel like it's one of those things, and I've spoken about it in a recent video, I think that I uploaded last week, that was talking about my second year of university. I said about biological psychology as a subject in uni and like as a module. And I was like, it reminds me so much of A-level biology, but it also reminds me of how I felt in A-level biology because when I got interested in something, I found it so interesting and I would really hyper-focus on it and I loved it. But if I wasn't interested, I was not interested. And there was a lot of the A-level biology spec that I was not interested in. A-level chemistry. So, A-level chemistry. I loved the maths side of it. Absolutely loved it. Didn't always understand it, but I loved it. The calculating like masses and like being like there's this mass put in, like calculate like X, Y, Z, like I love those questions. Inorganic chemistry can go in the bin. Can go in the bin because why are you telling me I have to draw a hexagon? I could not understand it, did not make sense, could not get my head around it for the life of me. Again, we had a really good chemistry teacher at the start of year 12 and absolutely adored this woman, made everything make sense. And I was like, this is great. She got pregnant and I was like, no, I was like, you're not allowed, come back. So yeah, she obviously went to have her little baby and we didn't have her for 6 months. And then when she even came back, we still weren't scheduled to have her because we had a new teacher at this point because we were in year 13. And I kept saying to her when she came back, like, please just take us back. Like, take us back. I was like, you're the head of science. You can easily take us back. I was like, easily. Chemistry, I've really enjoyed. Somehow my chemistry grade ended up lower than my biology grade. I think that was just luck when it came to the exams because I just think the exam paper wasn't very nice for chemistry. Third A-level, let's go, it's psychology. Yet again, had a little similar experience, but I did love psychology. I loved both of my teachers. One of my teachers got pregnant. This was in year 13 though, so she was with us for 1.5 years and then she got pregnant. And I was like, are you actually kidding me? Like, what is going on? Our teachers would teach between the two of them, they'd teach the topics that they were most confident on and the ones that they enjoyed more. So it always worked out so well because they were teaching what they were passionate about. But then my other teacher was just kind of lumbered with all of the subjects in, and you could tell there was some that she just didn't like as much. And I feel like as well, those topics, she did express that. So I was kind of like, oh, okay. I feel like it very much rubs off on you. This was the same in biology, the same in chemistry. If my teacher said they did not like something, their teaching for that session went down so much. So yeah, basically my A-level experience in terms of teaching and what I learned wasn't very good. Which was nothing on the school, it was purely on I did not dedicate enough time to it. I also made the executive decision, which I'm glad that I did, but I also now kind of regret it a bit. Well, not now, but like I did regret it when it came to A-Level results day, because yes, I was in a better place mentally. I prioritised my mental health during A-Levels. I was not working until ridiculous times of the night like I was in GCSEs. I would literally wake up at like 9 a.m. and stop studying at like 9 p.m. to go to bed, and that would be it. I'd be like studying from 9 till 9, and that would be all I would do. Whereas during A-Levels, I would sit with my friends, I would have conversations with them, I would go out, I would do different things and bits and bobs, but yeah, I didn't regret it at the time because I really needed to prioritise my mental health. I was still really struggling, and that is a decision I made. I'm very fortunate I still passed all of my A-Levels. But for me, it was very much prioritise my mental health or do well in my A-Levels, and that just came above it, I think, for A-Levels. I just wasn't putting myself through what I put myself through for GCSEs again. Which was a bit hard on A-Level results day when I opened up my paper and saw CDE. Obviously, they're not the worst grades in the world, they're absolutely not. But for A-Level psychology, in the classroom, I was working at A's. I think I'd been getting B's consistently and I'd got a couple A's. So it's kind of a little bit annoying when you see that little drop. But do you know what? I am very proud of myself because I still got those grades, I still passed. Me for GCSEs, I was just writing stuff out and out again. It was passive learning, it was never active recall, it was never any sort of revision like that. So I didn't know how to revise in that way. And that's something that I really needed help with in A-Levels, and I just didn't know how to learn. And thankfully, like TikTok and everything like that, and there was so many educational videos, and I learned about Anki and I used flashcards on there, which really helped me. I was very good at doing my flashcards and I do them every day, but it got to the point in year 13 where it was too late, and I was like, I don't have time to make flashcards. I probably had about 50,000 flashcards that I'd never reviewed before. I'd never even looked at them since I made them because there was such a backlog, because I didn't start that revision early enough. I didn't start making those resources. I didn't learn about it early enough. So maybe I'll talk about that as well, like different revision resources and ways to revise and stuff like that, and maybe I'll relate that to uni but also relate it to exams and A-Levels and stuff, because I still revise in the same way now for uni as I did at the end of my A-Levels, but I just do it slightly differently and I adapt it to obviously the exam and stuff like that. But yeah, moving on, we're gonna get to the more positive side. When I applied to universities, don't ask me how I did it, my predicted grades I think were ABB, because I was working at C's in biology and chemistry at that point, and I was working at, I think I just got an A in my psychology mock, and normally they still predict you a B because I worked at a B more consistently, and predicting an A and A is obviously harder to get. And I remember going to my head teacher like, please give me this A. Or I think maybe I was ABC was what I was predicted. I was like, please give me an A. I was like, you don't have to up my, like, whatever one was lowest. I think it was biology was my lowest predicted. I think that was a C. I was like, please predict me an A, like it's going to help with my uni offers, because all of my unis required BBC. And I was like, there ain't no way I'm getting in. So I applied to the majority of universities that were local to me. I went and looked around loads. I went and looked around Southampton, Birmingham, Leicester, Northampton, Hertfordshire, and then I think, Buckinghamshire, which is the private university. Leicester, really liked. I applied to Leicester because I was like, that will be my university, that if I want to be ambitious and I want to move away from home, that will be the uni that I go to. So I applied to Leicester, I applied to Buckingham, I applied to Northampton, I applied to Hertfordshire, and I applied to Buckinghamshire New. I applied to obviously the 5 universities, and I was so lucky that I got all 5 offers, and they came in fast. I think within a month I'd received all of my offers. I was so lucky, and I remember emailing my head teacher when this happened. I got an unconditional offer from the University of Northampton, and I was not expecting it. I did not know that was going to happen, and I remember emailing my head teacher and being like, I got an unconditional offer, and I was so happy. And I went and saw her the next day, and she was like, I literally like told everyone. She was like, I'm so happy, I'm so proud of you, blah blah blah. And she said to me, I feel like this is going to be the best thing for you because you can now prioritize your mental health, but you can study and do what you need to do without the stress being there, because you know you're going to university regardless. And she was so right. It did take that stress off. So I found Hertfordshire and I insured Northampton. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in terms of uni. I didn't know where I wanted to go. I still had no choice, like no idea. It was probably 2 or 3 days before A-Level results day, and I sat there and I went, I don't want to go to Hertfordshire. I was like, even if I get the grades, I don't want to go to Hertfordshire, I want to go to Northampton. I was like, I really want to go to Northampton. And turns out I didn't get the grades anyway. And I got offered a foundation year in, I think it was like applied sciences. So it was like having to do biology, chemistry and physics for a year before being allowed onto the psychology course. And I was like, I don't want to do that. But at the time when I went onto UCAS, that was all I could see, and I was so stressed out because I went onto UCAS in the morning and I was like, I want to check UCAS first because I knew I wouldn't get the grades, but I just wanted to see what would happen. And obviously that came up, and I was like, because first of all I was like, oh my god, I went into Hertfordshire, and then I was like, oh, that's not the course that I wanted. And then I realised what had happened, and they'd basically offered me a foundation year, and I was like, do you know what, I'm not going to worry about it now. I'm going to go into school, I'm going to open my results, I'm going to speak to them and they'll tell me what to do. I went to school, opened my results, and I remember I was kind of stood there and I was like, I really don't want to open them. I knew they wouldn't be what I wanted, but also I knew they'd be what I worked for. And yeah, I just didn't want to like open them in front of loads of people. There was 4 of us and we all opened our grades together, and then I went in and I spoke to our head teacher and deputy head, and I basically told them the whole situation. I had read somewhere that if you reject, your insurance, if you reject like when they give you an offer, they automatically reject your like insurance as well. And I was like, what? I was like, no, because like I really scaremongered myself, and I said this to my head teacher, and I was like, I don't know what to do, because like, what if I reject it and then Northampton says I can't go there, because like, even though I got an unconditional offer, they're still like, no, you can't come because you didn't get the grades. And my head teacher was like, I don't think that will happen, but ring them anyway. So I rang their clearing line and I spoke to a very lovely lady, and I was like, basically, this is what I've heard, is this true, like what's going to happen if I reject it? And she was like, if you reject it, it should just like then come up and say accepted to Northampton. And I was like, okay. She was like, if it doesn't, she gave me the email address, she told me exactly what to write, and she was like, and that will be fine. She was like, but I think it's going to be fine. And then I went and sat down, I logged onto UCAS on someone's computer, and I sat there and they were sat beside me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I think in the end my deputy head ended up doing it for me, because I just sat there for like 10 minutes saying, okay, I'm going to do it. And I think she did it for me in the end, because I just wasn't doing it. Because I was still so scared. It didn't go wrong. It literally came up and it said, you have accepted your place at the University of Northampton, and it popped up and they were like, wait, this is what you wanted? And I was like, yeah! So I was so happy, and yeah, I have just finished my 2nd year at university, and basically this is my whole point of this video, is if you don't get the GCSE and A-Level results that you want, please don't think it is the end of the world. Whether you have to do that foundation year, whether you have to accept an unconditional offer, or do whatever you need to do, reset your A-Levels, anything, you will get there. at the end of my second year, I have achieved a first class, and that was first class overall first year, first class overall for second year. And I am blown away, because if you'd have told little 18-year-old me receiving my A-level results that I would be getting a first class in university, I would not have believed you, because I very much got to uni and the imposter syndrome was immense. I was thinking, I don't deserve to be here. I got an unconditional offer. That's the only reason I am here. I know that everything happens for a reason, and I got those grades, but I ended up at the right university for me, and I'm now smashing it. Like, I went from getting CDE at A-level to getting a first class degree in second year. So yeah, if you don't get the A-level or GCSE results that you want, it's not the end of the road. There is always a way to get where you want to go. It just might take a little bit longer, or it might just be not what you thought, but it might turn out to be better for you anyway, because I am so happy where I am at right now, and honestly, everything is working out so much better than I thought it would. I'm happy that I almost failed my A-levels, and it's something that I still think about a bit now, where I'm like, oh, people are going to ask for my A-levels and they're going to be like, oh, you only got like a CDE. Like, I know if I want to go into teaching, and that's one of the routes that I'm considering at the moment, I know that's going to be something that's going to come up, and I'm going to have to justify that. And do you know what? I think me turning around and saying that I did prioritise my mental health and I learned to look after myself is so much more important than me saying, oh yeah, I got A's and I got into a top class university, but I'm still really struggling with my mental health now. I still do struggle, but not nearly as much. I know how to look after myself. I know how to take a day. Like, everything does happen for a reason, and I'm just so happy that things worked out. Let's just say everything happens for a reason. It will work out the way you want it to. It might take longer. It might be, like I said, not what you expected, but I promise you can still get there one way or another. And yeah, I feel like I needed to make this video. I feel like I needed to tell my story a little bit, and that's what happened. That is what happened, and I'm owning it. I'm very happy with where I am now, and if that hadn't have happened, I wouldn't be here. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna end this video here. This is gonna be another long one. You've had a few long videos recently, so anyway, yeah, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment down below if you have anything that you want to know, or if you're worried or anything like that. Any questions at all, please comment them down below and I will get back to you. Bye!